Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I've had another interaction with Australia Post. So I've got this package that was sent from France, went through Germany, and came into Sydney a few weeks ago. And I've finally gotten the truth because Australia Post was lying to me. They were lying to me over and over again, and they're trained to do this. I actually have had this confirmed by someone I spoke to today who actually finally admitted to me, because I thought what it was just training. I thought some people didn't know what areas of the database to look for notes for and information for, and there were people who just didn't have the same experience who weren't finding information. So I've had conversations with people where they've been able to tell me a whole lot more information about a situation, and other people are just telling me what's on the app. And what is happening is people are told not to tell people anything more than what's on the app because they don't want the customer having more information. Now, you may be cynical and say, I'm cynical in saying they don't want you to know because they don't want you to be able to criticize and point out faults and mistakes. They would probably say that they just don't want the person not understanding their process. So, and that can be true in both cases. Now, what was happening with me, with my parcel, was somewhere along the line, probably the person that initially sent it, but possibly when the label was made up, when it got into Australia Post system, they may have messed up the postcode, but it also may have been the original person who put it on may have got it wrong. I'm not sure. But either way, it's got the wrong postcode on it, so it went to Tasmania. Now, I saw it was going to Tasmania on the 14th, but it was already in Tasmania and had been there from the 10th. It went back on the 17th and the 24th, and now it's back there again on the 31st. But no one was telling me that. They were lying to me and saying that it was still in Melbourne. It hadn't gone there yet. What was happening was it was literally be going backwards and forwards between Launceston and Melbourne because the postcode in Melbourne, they say, oh, Tasmanian postcode, bundle up with all the other Tasmanian postcodes, send it to Tasmania. Then when it gets to Tasmania, they're going, just wait a minute, the address is a Melbourne address. We need to send it back to Melbourne. Then it gets back to Melbourne. They say, oh, Tasmanian postcode. And it keeps happening over and over again. And sometimes this happens in sorting processing centres and that because things can't go out or whatever. But this is a mistake. It's not part of the process that like sometimes they'll send something, scan it to go out, but then they don't have the room, so it sits there and then goes back and then scans out to go out again the next day. That's part of the process. It's supposed to do that. This is a mistake. But I got some good news in that someone in Tasmania acknowledged the request to send it to the right address, and someone in Melbourne, the Melbourne facility, acknowledged the request as well, and someone in Launceston today put it down as missent, the wrong address. So the fact they seem to be acknowledging this is not supposed to be going here, it's supposed to be going somewhere else, suggests they might have put something into the system to actually send it on to the right address. So I might actually get it. The person I was speaking to, who I spoke to for about half an hour or so at least, was very optimistic that he thought I should be getting it very soon because there seems to be something different happening this time. But I was just so glad that someone confirmed to me that yes, we do lie to our customers. We deliberately lie to them because we don't want them to have the information because either, well, he was saying, we think it complicates things too much and then they get alarmed by normal processes. And I'm like, well, you can just explain that's a normal process. You can say that sometimes things go backwards and forwards in between places before they actually go out. And this is part of the system, part of the processing. Whereas what mine was doing is it was coming back because of a mistake. It was going out because of a mistake and it was coming back because of a mistake. That's a different thing. And you can explain the difference between the two. So I think it's very condescending. And it's like saying, well, the Australian public is too stupid to understand our processes, so we're just going to not tell them. And like I said, I fought a bunch of times because sometimes people would give me the information and inform me and I would understand what was happening. Other times I would just get them regurgitating what was on the app. I'm like, well, I can see the app. That's why I'm calling, because I need to know more. I need to know where it is, what's happening, and what I can do, what we can do, what I can hopefully get someone to do to change the situation, change the outcome. The only thing that's worrying was the thing on the 17th from Tasmania. Despite that, well, they sent it, apparently it looks like they sent it back to Melbourne and they made a note about how things, it didn't seem related to, it was like, well, things sometimes go to Launceston, sometimes go to Hobart depending on size. So that seemed to, the guy seemed to read that as something, but it seemed to be not related. But it still went back to Melbourne, but it still went back to Tasmania. So it didn't stop it from going back to Tasmania, but it may be why when it went to Sydney, it was processed differently this time, because they put something in their system to say, oh, we see that request, this is a mistake, it shouldn't be here. And then the next time it was here, it did seem to be treated as a mistake. So hopefully I'll get it. But I just found that really telling, and I'm really glad that person told me the truth and was real with me. And it's shocking how different customer service is. Some people will be brilliant, they'll give you all the information. Other people lie, cover up, or they don't have the access or don't have the knowledge or the training. And it's just shocking how different response you get from different people is. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and share any other experiences that you've had if they're like similar to mine.